Perfect. All right, so I'm going to go over some stuff just to remind all of us about working with guides and stuff, and how we can tap into that energy and what are guides anyway. My information, has been pulled in from all over the place, Cryon, Body Talk, different theories all over the place over the years. So I tend to kind of pull it all together and then share. Ultimately, whatever we are channeling, whether it's healing or a guide or
we're losing you.
Crystal or whatever, that's also where you are you losing me?
Yeah, we were losing you for a little while.
Frozen.
My internet is unstable. Ooh, why is that? I've got full.
Is anybody watching a film or anything?
It is my internet though. James is recording his radio show, so he's also online, which is irritating.
Shh.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Did you hear any of what I said?
Not really.
I'll start again.
The last sentence we didn't. It's only a bit that.
Yeah, I don't know what else to do. Hang on. It says I've got a full bar.
It's fine now.
Change it. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So ask the angels and the guides and that higher consciousness to keep my internet stable. Thank you very much. Okay, so yeah, we're tapping into source energy, whatever we are tapping into, and it's about becoming clear channels. So whether we're channeling a guide, fully, whether we're channeling to our intuition, our higher self, whether we are tapping into the energy of an archetype or an angel, an archangel, it's all really in the quantum field. It's all energy out there. Our innate exists in every part of the DNA in our bodies. So it's, our higher self is in all of us and all around us. And the quantum field has all the information of everything. And that's the whole concept of we are all one, of course, because, that's kind of how it works. So your higher self is that vibration of you at a higher frequency. So if you're tapping into, I'll put you on mute actually, because that might help. You're tapping into the higher aspect of your vibration. So if you're looking at, what you want to connect with, if it's say Pleiadians or Arcturians or, a past life or anything like that, you've been in the consciousness of all of these places at some point, like where you are consciously kind of guided to go on a soul level. So you've experienced all of it. So you can tap into any energy because it's all God energy, if you like, or source energy. But it depends on what your soul purpose is in the incarnation, because we are spirit in having a human experience, and we'll be able to tap into what's for us in that moment. So the more we become clear channels and we practice, how to do that with meditation and mindfulness and all the different tools that we use, any kind of creativity you're channeling, whether you're doing an inspired painting, writing, speaking, giving a meditation, it's all an inspired channeling, healing, anything like that. It's coming from the source of your higher self, if you like. It's tapping into the aspects. So for example, if you wanted to work with Archangel Michael, you could think of the attributes that he has, and then what strength feels like, and if you're clearing space and setting the intention for attachments to be gone and stuff like that, how that feels. How you'd feel in your own body if you were trying to muster that kind of strengthened. Does that make sense? Yeah? A nod. So wherever you're kind of guided to go as a channel is how, wherever you can take your consciousness level to, for example. So when we hang out too much in fear and stuff, if there's stuff going on in your life, it's going to be more difficult to connect with, you know, a higher aspect of your being or a higher being of consciousness that you're, you know, as part of your journey, if you like. Past life stuff is clearing karmic cycles, but also we have gifts in those as well, so it's tapping into that energy. So it's slightly different than the energy of, say, an ascended master or something like that. And everything has an archetype. So if you go, you know, like Caroline Myss, or, you know, Carl Jung talks a lot about archetypes. There's a lot of information around like that. That again is sometimes clearing out a karmic aspect, your shadow stuff that needs to be kind of worked through in order for you to transcend all of that. Just looking at my notes. So we're going to do a few exercises just to get you. Yep.
Hi. Sorry, I don't really understand what an archetype is.
So an archetype is like the wounded child, or another archetype is the prostitute, or the mother energy, or throw some others out, guys.
You've got okay, no, I get the drift. So it's a type of a person in a particular area of their life, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry, yeah, the dog was barking and was a bit distracted. I just realised someone's dropped something off, so I missed a bit of what you said. So
that's all right. So we again, we have a lot of the archetypal energy within us, like the priestess or the goddess, or, you know, it could be anything basically, because it's all, you know, lifetimes that we've had. So on the kind of Earth planet, which is the planet of kind of learning, and, you know, somewhere where it's lessons, it's a difficult space to be in, considering that we've been in higher planetary systems in different incarnations. So for example, Val, you know, I don't know if it's still the case, but you're very tuned into the Andromedan energy, because that's an energy in this incarnation you can access. It's very natural for you, but you've probably been Pleiadian, Arcturian, you know, and many lifetimes on this plane as well. So again, you've incarnated, and then now, because this planet is also now ascending, it's coming out of being a school into allowing the planet to ascend, because that has an impact on all the other planets in the universe. It's necessary now for that to shift and change again. We've kind of hit a tipping point, particularly yesterday as a tipping point. And it's like we've got to a goalpost and we've got past something that we haven't got past for a very long time, and now we're on the trajectory of the other side of, in that kind of creative energy, we've gone past the kind of halfway point. In essentially, it's very exciting. So we can tune into any energy we like. We can tune into our senses, we can to the elements, or tune into the elements, or tune into the senses and see where you know, kind of feel that you are. So if you've got pen and paper, in case you want to write something down, that'd be really good. So just want to get you in the habit of some of these You hear me all right still, yeah?
It's going off a little bit, but I think you kind of, when it stops, we catch up on what you've said. So I think that's working okay, I think.
Sorry about that. James has normally done his recording by now. He was late. So just getting the energy, those of you that are just sitting and grounding yourselves. Just tuning to your breathing and just settle your bodies down a little bit. So just going to go through our senses to start with the energy of your senses with you of love. Just shut your eyes and just settle down into your bodies.
Sorry, Suzanne, we didn't catch that. You were saying we wanted to tap into our senses and then it went off.
Okay, so tap into the energy of love.
Okay.
Don't know whether to try and move myself a bit.
How about putting your video off? Maybe we just listen to you because we're going to be, our eyes are going to be closed anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if that makes a difference. Can you hear me all right? Yep. Okay. If the internet ends up being really unstable, we'll just transfer it onto another night if it's really bad. So let's see how we go. All right. Because I don't want this to be rubbish. So just settle down into your bodies. You all know how to ground. Just whatever feels right for you. Just expanding into your heart chakra. Just allowing that feeling of love, self-love, being loved, to love, just to expand in your heart chakra through every cell in your body, within and all around you. So just want you to tap into your sense of sight. So just looking at the physical aspect of your sense of sight at the moment, what to you would you see in relation to love? What would you see physically in relation to love? So just write it down if you want to. Because whatever love means to you, if you're looking at something, what would you love looking at? Just connect now into your third eye, allowing your higher self to come through the aspect of expanding your third eye energy. That crystal ball with green emerald speckles, expanding within and all around you, joining that energy to the energy of love. Your higher self is you in a higher vibration, a higher energy, a higher frequency. In your mind's eye, what does love look like in your subtle sense? Could be a colour, could be anything. See what comes in for you. So next, with those two senses, the two chakras working together, see which comes forward, the physical, the subtle. What does love feel like? So if you're working in the energy of love, how would you feel? Would it be a physical sensation? Would there be an emotion? See how that shows up for you. Feeling of love. Into your sound, your subtle and physical sense. Just tuning in for what love sounds like, physical or subtle, or just one. See whether you can tune in to your knowing next. Just see what comes to you. What sense of knowing would you have about love? So if you had a guide working with you, or you were meeting somebody, how would you have that sense of knowing, that gut feeling of love? How would that show up? I'm going to do smell. Subtle or physical, what does love smell like? So all the different aspects of whoever, whatever you're channeling and connecting to will be giving you different things to work with so that you know what they are. You'll be making your own dictionary of what things mean to you in your senses. This is how you develop your senses, or one of the ways that you can develop your senses. And taste. What does love taste like? So just going to take you into the energy of fear for a second, or a few minutes rather. Just so that when you're channeling, you are aware of energies that are coming in. And I'll talk a little bit about different types of energy turning up in a minute. What does fear feel like? Where would you feel that in your body or would there be a sensation? How would that show up subtly or physically? Where's that showing up? What does fear sound like? What does it look like? Some people will get a smell or a taste with fear as well. Just tune in and see whether that's there for you. So this just shows you that you can work through all the senses and then they show up physically or subtly. If you're working with energies, working with guides or working in your higher self to, you know, an archetype or a past life or something like that, you're going to get sensations coming up in your senses that mean something to you. So this is about you writing your own dictionary of symbols and signs of what means something to you. So if you're working with a person one-to-one, then you're going to be, part of the time you're going to be in your psychic energy where you're picking up something from the person that you're working with. So you'll be experiencing in your body or your senses what you're reading from the other person. That's kind of, you know, a psychic connection to the person that you're with, an actual real life person. When you're working with spirit, you're having a connection, or, you know, a connection to your higher self, or whatever you, however you want to look at that. The reason we make these into guides is to make it more easy to understand, because we, on the earth, we make everything linear so that we can understand it, which is why we kind of made things separate from us, but actually everything's connected. So when you're calling any energy you're working with, it's a little bit different to whether you were having a psychic link to somebody in person. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So you can go through every single emotion with this exercise with your senses and make notes for yourself about how that shows up for you. So then when you're working with people, you'll know, you know, am I picking it up from the person? Test if you need to, or is this a spirit guide coming in connected to, and is that what's showing up instead? Now when you're working with guides, there could be many things, so challenge it. And we've learned this through Cherry. I've learned it obviously through Body Talk and Mindscape and stuff, and Susie and the group that Mandy and I are in, you know, they have a different way of doing it. They ask the guide to step in, and can they hold up kind of the sword, working for the good of God and all mankind. And if you can't visualize them holding up the sword, then you send them away. They're not for now. You can have loved ones showing up to support you, for example. They're not necessarily spirit guides, but they are just there for support. You can have people
Suzanne, I'm not
that
getting.
have passed over. Like for you, Faye, Val, you're not hearing me again.
I'm not hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
There are times, it's like a pinnacle point that I was trying to really understand, and then it went funny, and so I've kind of lost the train of what you're saying. And you're frozen at the moment.
Where did I get to? As well. La, la, la.
The bit for me
Is it
was
moving
when,
now?
yeah, I'm missing a few bits, but the main thing it went to begin with, when I was really trying to understand, because you can know, you sort of said, do you get what we mean? And Mandy was saying no, and actually I meant no as well, even though I didn't sort of shake my head. And it was about when you sense it from somebody else, and how you can tell the difference between whether it's somebody else and a spirit. So, and that bit I couldn't, you were trying to explain it and then it went funny, so couldn't really follow.
So my take on it, and stuff that I've learned from different people, is you've got people that have passed over that may be needing a soul rescuer, an earthbound soul that needs help going to the light. Okay, so if you're not practicing that, send them to someone you know is. So, you know, send them out of your energy, because sometimes you can end up with too many energies in your space. You know, and as I've told you before with people that I've worked with in the past, it's, you know, it's good to be, you're in charge of that, so that you don't end up with too much and then it's overwhelming, or you end up with things that you don't want, and that can go a bit wrong. So you can ask, basically. They'll feel different on a vibrational level. So if you're working in your higher self and you're channeling through healing energy, you'll know what that feels like. Or if you're channeling and tapping into a higher vibrational energy, like a guide or a spirit guide, then, you know, you'll feel that that's what's come in. If it's interference and you're sensing a bit of fear, or you're not really sure and they can't hold up the sword for the highest good, or you've asked streams up from the light and you're still not sure, you're in charge. You send them away to sing through your senses with all the different emotions. So yeah, I think I glitched again then. So practicing through your senses, Sue, with all the emotions, so that you can know what each feels like. So if you had an energy show up to work with you, you'll know if that feels right for you in your space. And if it is, you send it away. You set the intention that you're inviting in a spirit guide.
So you were comparing the energy from somebody who is literally with you, and you were comparing that to spirit. That's the bit as well that I'm not sure what you.
Okay, so you're either working spiritually with a spirit guide, so that's like almost an external energy that you're connecting to, and they're channeling through you in order to bring healing or a message, or, you know, helping you with your work. When you're working psychically, you're tapping into the energy of the person that's your client, and you're picking up their emotions. It's different. So if you're doing a body talk session, for example, you'd primarily be in your intuitive psychic senses, and you'd be reading the person in front of you. That's a more natural thing really for us all to do, and that's probably where most of us are most of the time, unless you're used to conversing with spirit that, you know, passed over, or guides and stuff like that, like Faye is, because that's something that she's kind of been bombarded with her whole life.
Yeah, you work now. My guides talk to me, and then they work with their guides, and they're talking to them. So it's like, it's really weird. Sometimes you just like, there's like 4 people in the conversation. Like that person, that person, that person. You just have to get used to them all. Very strange.
Yeah, so it's practice. I think what we'll do, we'll carry on having a conversation here and do the best we can, but I think I'll put this on again. I think I'll do this again when we can all be free on another night, so that, you know, when I've got internet that's stable, because then it's quite a big subject, and it would be really nice for you all to be able to start working with guides and knowing the difference between that. I mean, primarily, really, the thing to go through is working with your senses. So whatever tools you have to do that, write down all the main emotions, write down all the senses, and write down subtle sense, physical sense. And just see if you can play with it a little bit and see how these emotions and these feelings and sensations turn up for you in the energy that you're. So if you were working with a guide, a higher guide, you're going to get more of a sense of the kind of archetype that they are, like Archangel Michael, or bringing the strength or love through, for example, from Archangel Chamuel, who works, you know, with the energy of love and peace and comfort. So just learning what that might feel like. So like I was explaining in the Rahani training on Sunday, if you practice the guides in the Rahani manual, read what they're about, and then go through your senses practicing, well, if that guide came in, what color would they be for me? What color is it in the book? Is that how they're showing up for me? What would their energy feel like to me? So if it says that they're peaceful and loving and kind, shut your eyes for a minute and think, where am I going to feel that energy in my body? Where am I picking up that sense? Am I seeing a color? Or is it coming through another sense? Am I getting messages from that guide to give to the person that I'm healing? Does that make sense a bit more? So it might be good to choose some guides from the Rahani manual, for example, because obviously you can open yourself to the Rahani energy, which is already a channel. So you're already in that higher vibration when you've tuned into that energy. Can go through your ascension chakras, get yourself into the right space, and then call in that energy and play with it a little bit. Call in Lord Melchizedek, look at his attributes and think, well, if I was having him connect with me, if I was connecting in with my higher consciousness to that energy and frequency, what would that feel like? Would there be a sound? What would I see if I was connecting to his energy? What might happen, for example? What's his purpose and how would that show up for me? So it's just going through your senses and your, you know, emotions, and the subtle sense, which is the intuitive aspect, and the physical sense where you're feeling it in your actual physical body. It's just practicing those things. So it's like Mindscape and some, because you're going further into those subtle senses, and just keep going with that. You can also tap into, you know, the energy of different animals, what they stand for. Look at some of the animal totems, tap into their energy and think, right, how would that show up? You know, how we have animal guides show up. Well, how did we know they showed up? Did we see it? Did we feel something? So the more you practice that with yourself, it's a bit like a game of you connecting with them and asking them to, you know, help you with that energy. Then when you're working with other people, it's easier to know the energies that you're working with. It all just takes practice. It's still, for me, I still have to practice that, even though I've been doing it for years, because you have to keep that kind of connection going. Otherwise it, you know, it's like a muscle. It wanes like anything else, comes and goes. And you can also work with the elements. So let's try this. Let's try the elements. So just shut your eyes. And I want you just to imagine that you're standing on the top of a hill and it's windy. Just fully embrace the wind. Become the wind. Step into the essence of what that feels like. What would that sound like? Be able to see as the wind, as if you are the wind. How would you be experiencing what you were seeing? Is there a taste or smell in the air? You could imagine yourself conducting the wind, for example, drawing that energy, the strength from that. How would that feel? Just how could this show up for you? What would it mean if the wind showed up for you? It could mean you feel exhilarated or strong. If you're working with somebody else and you're experiencing the energy of the wind, how that might be working through your healing or what you were channeling, how would that be helping in your session? Would that bring that energy? Now just switch to being on the beach. You're walking into the sea. Gentle waves lapping over your feet. The water's calm. You just take a dip on a nice sunny day. How are you feeling in the water when it's like that? What emotions is the water? Is it calm, peaceful? Feeling held and buoyant. Connected to the energy of the water. Suddenly this turns up really choppy all of a sudden. The waves get bigger. How does that feel? What can you sense in your senses? What are you seeing, feeling, hearing? The emotions that are there. So just think symbolically how these might show up in a session when you're working with someone else. Or this energy might come when you're just sitting meditating with yourself and something needs to be cleared. Or there's a shadow aspect or something that's coming up in you that needs to be worked on. Bring yourself back into the space of calm water. Walking up the beach, Connecting with the earth, feeling that earth element, your feet in the sand, sinking into the sand. Imagining how the sand feels if you were the sand, from the consciousness of the sand. The water coming and going. Walking towards the edge of the sand, there's some grass. Feeling your feet going down into the earth. How does that feel? Emotions are present when you're in the earth. Same as being a tree. How does that feel or sound? Can you see the roots going down into the earth as if you're a tree? Just exploring all these sensations, emotions, how they help us heal, how they help us in our sessions with other people, symbolically what they mean. That strength and energy that comes through each of the elements. And then the fire element, crackling. Feel nice and warm, cozy around the fire. Watching the flames dance. Flames grow, they get too big and you get too hot. And things start coming out of the fire. If you had heat turn up in a session with a client, it may mean there's inflammation. Could be symbolically telling you that, or something coming up for you where you need to balance some inflammation. Or if you're being shown a lot of damp earth, have you got damp within your system? This is working with the Chinese elements of what's going on within your body. It's showing you. You could have too much wind. How would that need to be balanced? So to clear the earth, it needs fire. For things to grow, they need water and air to spread the seeds. And earth for things to grow in. These are all ways of showing you how these show up. So just come back for a minute. Has the internet settled down a bit now? Okay, good. So I'd like some of you to share actually how you experienced that, and then ask any questions if you've got them, because it's important that you understand what I'm waffling on about. Faye, you've done lots of writing. Let's have a little listen to what you've come up with.
Okay, so for those ones, I get quite a lot of the senses, so it's nice. For the wind, it was pushy, forceful, fresh, free but volatile. The sound was like quite symphonic, untamed. And when the wind shows up for me, it's about change. It was funny about earth. So my least favorite thing is earth, shock horror, grounding. When I was in the sea, it was heavy in my body, but that felt like a good way because it was like holding me down. So I wasn't afraid of being choppy. That felt like it was being grounded in a good way for me. But when I was on the sand, that felt like I was being pulled down, and I don't like that. It was like forced grounding, and it was sludgy and felt heavy, and I don't like it. And then when it was the feet in the earth, that bit was better because it was again the energy, feel more energy in the ground. So I like that. And fire. Oh, and also the roots of the branches of the tree saw my central nervous system. So I like that. And then the fire, that just was like safety, life, love, reverie, peace, completion, home, a bit mad, and magic. That was what came back for the fire.
I like the bit mad bit.
Yeah, because it's got that like uncertainty, hasn't it? That's probably why I go for like quite fiery people. Maybe.
It's exciting and change, yeah.
Volatile, yeah.
So when the more we work with the elements and our senses, and the other exercises we did with love and stuff like that, the more you'll get to know how that shows up for you. So then when you're working with other people, either doing healing or doing body talk or whatever you're doing, and you're in that kind of psychic sense of tapping into their energy, you may sense some of these things show up so that you can kind of tell what's going on for them. You start to understand it a bit more because you've understood how that feels for you. Or you may have spirit working with you, showing you stuff, showing you a choppy sea, or a fire that's a little bit out of control, for example, in your mind's eye, or you may smell that coming in. So then you can sort of, if you're doing body talk, for example, you muscle test and see, am I getting a pop-up picture of inflammation somewhere? Okay, where is that happening in the body? So it's just to allow all these pictures and symbols and words and smells, and it's the whole point of like the mindscape therapy and in body talk as well, is to get people really using their senses fully, so that their whole session of whatever healing or therapy or reading or whatever you're doing, or whether you're meditating for yourself, really comes to life. So you can just really develop this, as much or as little as you want, really. So, and that's really good, Faye. Did you manage to feel the loved ones and all your senses?
Yeah. The loved one I got. Yeah, it's not all. What did I write? I wrote at ease, not anxious, and then not words, but a frequency you feel, but in hearing form. I don't know. And then when you talk about the guides, I was like, they usually let me know they're there by saying hello. And then my nose goes fuzzy, and then my eyes prickle, which means it's true. And then love is like, it's quite light, and the front of my tongue doesn't feel very heavy. And that's different because with fear, it's straight in my stomach, and I feel physically, it hurts, and I feel really, really anxious. And then I can hear energy like in my face, and I hear it pulsating in my ears. It's like a wave, and it gets really, really harsh. And then I get like a compressed head, I always call it, when my head feels compressed here. It's like it's in a vice. And then when it's something really frightening, my heart goes, but then I calm down, and it feels like time slows down, and I can zone in like through all of the noise into what it is I need to pay attention to. And my heart's quite fast. And then it usually got like, it's like all quiet around, and then if it's something like where it's scary and I have to do something and act on something, I get told what to do. Or if it's a person, like I just get told what to do and I have to then do it. And that's like protection as well to kick in.
Brilliant. So if you're doing healing for yourself and you were experiencing fear around something, you could tap into, right, okay, so what would love do here? How could I support myself and what do I need in order to bring that back into balance? You could tap into the elements and see, right, okay, what would feel comforting in the elements, for example, and visualize, the calm water, and really kind of play with bringing the healing through how it needs to come through, or ask your guides to show you what you need. So tapping again into that, your higher consciousness, and asking them what you need. Or before you do a session with somebody else, checking out what's yours. So if you're not feeling anxious or fearful before the session and you're picking that up in your tummy when you're working with somebody, that's your client's stuff that you're picking up on. Yeah. So that's how, when you understand your own emotions and where they sit in your body, where you feel it, how that comes through your senses, when you're working with somebody else, it's easier to kind of decode what's going on for someone else. That's how you end up, that's kind of empathically kind of tuned into someone else's energy. That's the psychic stuff. Does that make sense? I know you know that already, Faye. So I know when you're doing divine healing, you're probably feeling everything that your client is kind of experiencing, but you're able to be kind of boundaried about that.
No, I am.
Whereas sometimes I forget to be boundaried and I can feel tears coming and stuff like that. And I always say to people, if I've welled up, this is not my stuff, I'm feeling you, just so that they know that I'm not joining in and that I'm just clearing them. So again, that's about being in charge and learning boundaries and being a bit disciplined about how you're working with your energies and stuff.
It can still tire you out of it, can't it, though?
It can, yeah. If you've forgotten your protection and your boundaries are not in there and stuff, it is tiring, especially when you're working with all of this stuff kind of on a daily basis and it's new to you working like that back to back. It takes a while to find your equilibrium with the right amount of clients for you a day and the right amount of time with each person, and knowing how to let go of it afterwards. That also takes practice, because I used to exhaust myself and take on everybody's stuff, whereas now I'm able to kind of just leave it at the session and then move on to the next thing. You kind of become I can still feel everything, but you desensitize yourself to letting that run around in your head over and over, which I think you're probably already there. So who else wants to share? I'm going to ask you all. Somebody's got to go next.
Oh, well, I might as well. Okay, so some of the time I fell asleep, unfortunately, with the elemental, the elements. But I was aware with the wind. So the wind was, it's really hard to explain it, isn't it? It's more like it. I can actually hear. Now, if I just think of the wind, I can hear what it sounds like, but to explain it is kind of like a different. So I guess I don't really need to do that, because I suppose it's a knowing. I know what that sounds like.
Learning how to decode it, if it's for you, that you're working on you, or if you're working with another person.
Yeah.
This comes in.
So I suppose if I were to find some words to explain it, then I might be able to differentiate it when it's somebody else's. I suppose that's the key. I get that's what you're saying, what you're getting across. I felt the wind. I love the wind, actually, sort of love it in the wind in my hair. And some of the time it was cold when I was imagining it, and other times then I actually sort of, no, I don't like that. Then I changed. I want it warm, well, a cool breeze when I'm warm. So that's nice, up on that hill. So there's sort of like the smell. Again, it's not really there. I think possibly if I were imagining fire, I think I would get smell for that, you know, because that it sort of makes sense to me. So I suppose what I've got to do is kind of get that, you know, sort of deeper sense, which I'm not there yet. So that was
And if you had fire showing up, you know, if you weren't sure whether you'd had, you know, a guide step in or whether it was to do with your client, you know, just tune into your own senses and see which feels right.
yeah.
Or muscle test or whatever you want to do. What does it feel like? Does it feel like it's the person? Have they got inflammation going on somewhere? And if so, where? Ask them where they're feeling in their body.
Or if it's divine healing, you can you can use the one that says where in the body. That's
Exactly.
a nice.
That's the same in body talk, isn't it? You just check it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just go to wherever you're, you know, kind of drawn with that, or whatever way you use your senses.
Mm, mm.
So it was to really bring to life how you access your own healing, or if you start channeling energy, whether it's healing energy or whether you're tapping into, you know, guide energy, or other lifetimes that we've had, you know, whether we're connecting with, you know, that Pleiadian energy or whatever we're doing, is to just practice it in order to know how that's coming to you. Like Faye was describing, she gets like an itch on her nose and, you know, her eyes go funny, so she knows whether something is true or not.
Yeah. I did what's something that Faye you said, which was to do with your ears, and it kind of like went kind of, I don't know, I recognized something like that where it kind of like pressure, and then sometimes you get like a pulse as well, and I get that, and that's, I think that's fear. So yeah, it's the beginning for me. It's kind of like, you know, recognizing that those things are important to kind of like notice.
Yeah, so if your ears suddenly start doing that and you're not working with a client, you've got to think, oh, okay, so why have I been triggered in a bit of fear here? What's going on? And then you can kind of look at your surroundings, or, you know, something you need to tune into and think, okay, I'm being shown something. Is a guide trying to tell me something? So it's for you to kind of decipher it. It's worth keeping a journal so that you can write, because I can't tell you what these things mean, because they're for you to work out what your dictionary is of all these senses and how it shows up for you, because we all work differently with that. Everybody works differently. But the more we practice these things, the more we can kind of tap into, you know, the quantum field of all that energy and information is out there for us to tap into. One of the exercises in the Mindscape, to those of you that don't know, is that you go into the library and you take a book off the shelf and you start reading it. And you can read it and say out loud what you're seeing on the page. Just let yourself start talking, or you can just start writing what you think's, you know, what you think it's saying. Or we pull up a computer screen and imagine what words would be on it. You know, there's some guidance that might come in. Or there may be a clock in there. You know, we can slow time down, we can speed it up. And this is all where you put your attention and intention, is how you can kind of, we can manipulate energy as well. Of course we can. So we can call it in and work with it that way too. But it's nice to tune into your higher self and allow that kind of channel to be open so the information can kind of come through to you, you know. I mean, if you're working with a client, you're going to be more tuned into your psychic energy anyway. So you'll know what was in your body first, and then you'll know if there's something else coming in that you're picking up something from the client. Trust that. And that comes from working with it, with, you know, any modality, healing, reflexology. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. You become in that, you know, other person's energy. Even with soul contract reading, you're still reading a person's vibration, aren't you? Through the words and the sounds and how it all feels when you're, if it's not quite right, you'll feel it, right, Val? You'll think, oh, that doesn't actually feel right or sound right, or
Yeah. Basically, you just tune into the person and think, because there's so many vibrations that and so many things that are linked to a specific number or letter that not everything is going to be applicable to the person. So you tune into the person to see what's applicable to this person that you're preparing the reading for.
Yeah, and you're using all your senses again, aren't you? Do you have anything else to add, Stu?
No, don't think so. With love, actually, it was a knowing sensation, sort of like straight to the heart, and it was it was quick, and the sound, the calm, like singing voice, woman's voice.
Lovely.
So
If you're working with guides and you had that sensation, you'll know that an energy of love is turning up, how you feel supported, comforted, or it could be a loved one stepping closer.
And colours swirling.
Again, you can always look at what colour that is. Does it relate to a chakra? Does it relate to a guide? Just get to know the different energies that way. I mean, there's hours of fun here.
Yeah, I'm beginning to realise.
Hours and hours of playing with this stuff.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing.
Yeah, I think it might be an idea to kind of like meet up with a few, just even one of you guys, and it's just like just spend an afternoon just messing about.
Yeah, I'd be up for that. That'd be really nice to do that.
Yeah.
Even if we've tucked ourselves away in the edge of a coffee shop or something, it would be fun to do, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Great.
Thank you. And you, Mandy, how did you get on?
So because I wasn't understanding, I got a real panic. So it took me completely back to school days where I didn't understand.
Okay.
So I really could have just pulled my eyes out, to be honest. It just completely took me into another place. So, but after I kind of recovered from that, can you hear me okay? Because
I can hear you okay. It's not helped that the internet connection's been a bit crappy.
No, it didn't. It's funny. Any teaching situation, I can just get into that place and really struggle to get myself back out again. But anyway, the standing on the hillside, to me, it's just like bliss, and feeling that the wind and just weather, exciting, exhilarating, wonderful. The one that I really struggled with was it being in the water.
Okay.
The water element is the scariest for me, and I can get a bit worried about that. But all the others I enjoyed, and sort of felt the I could feel the relevance of it. But I to be honest, because I was struggling, I think I haven't really grasped everything as much as I could have done. I think.
So are there any questions you want to ask, Mandy? Because questions are all relevant.
Yeah. I'm still sort of a bit stuck on the psychic and spiritual, the two words, because they both begin with an S sound. I'm confused by them, and I'm still not sure which is which and what
So we call it the
what.
psychic, for the psychic connection to the
So what is that though? Still don't know what that is.
Psychic person. What the section?
You've gone blippy.
It's
again.
like telepathy, where you're able to tune into someone else's energy. Pardon?
So telepathy is the word. So that's with a human being in the room.
Yes.
And you're
psychic is on a real person. Psychic, you're reading a real person.
Okay, let me write that down. Real person. Okay, yeah.
When you're working with spirit, it's going to be you tapping into the consciousness of other energy.
other energy.
And then they may be working with you or through you with your client, or giving you messages.
Yeah.
So when you're working cyclically, you're reading a person's energy, basically.
Okie doke. Okay, that seems clear, but yeah, the two S's was completely blowing my mind. Which
And
is
I know
outrageous.
Susie's done that in the class as well, and maybe covered
Each
that as much as
time,
she could.
yeah. No, yes, 3 or 4 times it's been covered, and I still haven't got it.
Yeah, it's something that I think needs to be clearer, and it's a big subject, and it is quite hard to grasp, because you've got to learn to differentiate. Because, you know, for me, it's more natural for me to work psychically, because I'm so used to working one-to-one with people and in group energy. So I can read the room, or I can read a person, because I can feel it. My feeling sense is, you know, or my visual one is my biggest. And that's what I've done for the last 20 odd years, really. And my whole life I've been able to kind of feel too much in that sense, and had to work out what's mine and what belongs to someone else. You know, that my daughter's going through that, because you know, she can end up in a right old mess. And for you, Mandy, you feel everything. You know, it brings an emotional sense to you, so you're very in your, you know, empathic energy, and it's about learning to be boundaried about that for you. But you would know, like, if you weren't feeling fearful and you were working with a client and you suddenly got a vision of water, or you started to feel a bit of fear, then you know that's telling you something about the person you're working with. It's working kind of, you know, it's giving you a message for what's coming through when you're doing healing or whatever that is. Don't take it on as your own stuff. No, you're in charge always. Bring yourself back into that calm space. Just know that it's a message that there's something going on for that person that is fearful for them. Find where that is in the body. And then you channel when you're, especially when you're healing or doing a therapy, you are sensing what's going on for that person. You're sensing where they are struggling in their physical body. And then you are channeling through the remedy for that. You're channeling through a healing energy that taps into the innate wisdom that knows how to heal, and their body's innate wisdom that knows how to heal them. So it's almost like Faye said earlier, your higher self, and that frequency of healing energy comes through you and connects with their higher self and their body's innate wisdom of knowing. So you're almost, if you're a visual person, you can visualize that part of their body whole and well and fixed and healthy. You can see it flowing out of them, and then you're filling that space with pink love. Bring the energy of love to that space as a healing energy, so that is supported and balanced again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're kind of almost, you read the body first if you're healing, for example, and then you are bringing through this, you know, how they're going to heal. How is that going to change? How am I going to see this if it's well again? Like psychic surgery is them literally feeling like they're doing the surgery, which is obviously not what we've been taught, but and like seeing it all whole again, fixed. And you know, you can call in Dr. Lorpan if that comes up, and let him do it for you. But you're seeing them healthy and whole again. That's why in healing sometimes you use the violet flame to transmute stuff. If you're not sure how to work with it, bring the violet flame through, or Saint Germain or Archangel Zadkiel, and ask them to come in and just visualize that violet flame clearing the energy. You know how with Louise the other day, you had to literally clear that energy down her body. You were in that inspired healing energy where you knew you had to move your hands. You'll be guided with that, and you were being guided and you were doing it. And then when it's cleared, you bring them back into that kind of loving space, that relaxed, calm, peaceful energy where the body's healed. You're kind of filling the space that's something's left from, if you like. That's what we're doing when you're doing either like body talk or divine healing. You're kind of bringing up what the person's struggling with. You're clearing the energies, and then you bring through some fixes at the end, like the zap codes are support things that come in to just help support the body on its kind of healing journey. So there's different processes to everything that you're doing. We're not just looking at what's wrong, we are looking at how that can balance, just channeling that energy there. The energy knows how to do that, and you're just observing it, really.
Yeah.
Observing that happen. And that's why working with your senses, you'll get a sense of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly you'll just feel peaceful. You'll know that that's balanced.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
is practicing with your senses makes it all much, much easier for you to work with.
Okay.
Knowing what's yours and what belongs to someone else.
Yeah.
Has
Yeah.
that helped you get it?
Yeah. No, I'm much clearer now. It's just a process, isn't it? And each time it's just making the next step on through that process, which is exciting. It's just horrible to go back to age 6 or whatever and just go, help.
Yeah, because you've got a trigger, right?
Yeah.
So it makes it feel very personal. So the stuff there that you need to work with and clear.
Yeah.
So bring the healing to yourself. You can transmute that energy that you're feeling, find where you're feeling in your body, and allow the violet flame to do the work for you. Call in the guide that's relevant for that and see if you can feel their energy, get to know who they are, learn their attributes, and then bring through that sense of peace and healed and whole the guides that might be working with that energy, which chakra color you might need to bring in because you know the attributes of that.
Okay. I will do that. Thank you.
So look, use the Rahani manual for self-healing. Just learn what's in there to work with yourself with it, and then you will find it much easier to work with what's yours and what belongs to somebody else. And then what your signs and symbols are, then your own little dictionary.
Okay.
And that's the thing with this kind of work, you can't tell somebody this means this, this means this, this means this. We have to make our own up. Faye's got all her sensations and stuff of how things show up for her. And Faye, you probably would know the difference, wouldn't you, whether it's someone needing soul rescuing or whether it's a guide or whether it's interference. You're going to know what that is, because that's how Faye is. For other people, we've got to learn this stuff because it's not natural to know how that all feels and how that's different. And Faye may be able to explain that or not, because it's very natural. It's a tricky one.
I was confused when people didn't feel it.
Yeah.
And then you have to learn to not talk about it. It's like the opposite way around. And then you go.
Yeah, it's like me with feeling everything when I was young. I didn't realise that not everyone could do that, or they couldn't see energy. And I'm like, okay, I thought that was just normal. I'm glad I wasn't bombarded by people trying to be soul rescued when I was a kid. So yeah, I admire you for that, Faye.
That's why I look so old.
You've done well. Thank you, Mandy. Thanks, Faye. And Val?
Hiya.
Oh.
So the elements, I think at some point I dozed off, but it did remind me very much of Mindscape, where you just feel, see, touch, smell, taste, everything. So, and I like the elements. I'm comfortable with the elements, and actually all of them. I do like all of them. And for love and fear at the beginning, so I took the notes on my phone, so I might disappear from the screen. So I mean, some of them are a bit cliche, but the heart, I mean, what I could see was a heart and a pink rose. It felt like something warm and really comforting, and there was an emotion of, like a joy, like a real sense of joy. It sounded like a song, or a deep masculine voice. It switched halfway through. So the song was a woman voice, and then it became a deep masculine voice.
Nice.
Yeah, and I did like the balance of both aspects of it, actually. And knowing what love is was a hug and an embrace from someone or from a guide. It didn't have to be some physical person. It could just, feel the comforting aspect of being surrounded by guides.
Yeah.
It smelled like a very specific rose that we had in our garden when I was a kid. And I can just smell this specific rose very vividly still today. And it tasted of something sweet, like candy floss, even though I really don't like candy floss. That's what it tasted like.
That's what love tasted like to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Candy floss. How cheesy of me.
That's good though.
And then the fear felt cold, like a shiver across the body. It sounded like a sharp, high-pitched scream. That's something that you would hear in the back streets when something bad's happen, and it just then shivers down your spine. It looks cold and gray and metallic, and actually tastes metallic as blood and metallic as well. So yeah, I know those feelings, and I know how they feel, taste, and everything. So I know when they're mine and when they're not, basically. Yeah. So if it's just me, and I've noticed as well, and it's something very new. And Faye has been talking about this forever. She said that, how do you phrase it, Faye? With your ear, when you feel the blood pumping. Oh, you've got blood in your ears.
I get angry. I feel the blood rising.
Yeah. So for me, it doesn't mean anger, but I've started feeling it in Divine Healing 3 recently, where I can just feel the right ear going woof, 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 like this. And I'm not sure exactly what it means to me, but it could be fear. I don't know if it's fear, because when I was really little, I went, traveling in a portal or something, and this is what being sucked into the portal felt like. It felt like this in my ears, and then poof, I would be going into that. So there's no fear when I experience it now, and I experienced it yesterday when I did the meditation. I experienced it tonight and every day during Divine Healing, not all the time. So I need to pinpoint exactly what it means for me now, because I don't think it means now what it meant when I was a child.
Okay. And it's showing you something in your sessions as well.
Yeah.
Because that's a familiar energy for you. You could think, well, I wasn't feeling that just now, so actually this is something they're fearful of.
I actually don't hear the high pitch anymore that much. I can feel more the blood pulsating in my ear. So yeah, it's for me to look into it.
Yeah, that's a good point. If ever you're having a scary moment of yourself, of your own rather, get to know some of the guides that bring peace and calm and strength and protection, and know that when you're having a scary moment like that, you can call in that guide. If you've got used to their energy, call in the guide to come and help support you, or visualize that calm wind that makes you feel better. Ask the guide to come and help you with that. So it's really useful to get used to the energy of those different aspects of different guides, the dragons or the unicorns or elementals or whatever it is you want to work with. So you have ways, because your brain in your head is your habit brain. If you practice this and you learn it over and over, and you learn to connect over and over, you'll be able to call that in really quick and help calm the situation down really quickly, because it's become a habit, basically. So that's a really useful exercise to do as well. It's another point to learning about the, you know, the energies and stuff. And, you know, some of the time you'll just be aspect of yourself, but it's self-healing then. It's how to bring it. It's really useful energy to be able to access, because you practice that again. And knowing of what that is, how that shows up for you. So just, I would always have like a little pad and pen with you, or make notes on your phone, so that you can kind of work on this and just keep a journal of it, so that you can make your own list of what shows up for you, what shows up when you're working with other people. Ask the guide to guide you with it, tell you how that is, you know, work on that. So I realise, you know, it's 9 o'clock already. So should we do the meditation part of this on another night when my internet's going to be hopefully more stable, or do you want to do it now?
Another night would be better for me, because I need to go and get my children to bed and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, had the internet not have played up, then, you know, it would have been more useful. But I'm happy to do the whole evening again if we need to tap into that. I'll share this aspect of it to the people that should have been here. And then if we get together on another night, we can just catch up with what they did with it from listening to us guys talking, and then we can go into the meditation. Does that sound like a plan? And then somebody,
if anybody else wants to do it, I'd be quite happy to do it. So I don't know whether you're up for it.
what
or
now?
Yeah.
Well, I can do it now if you want to. And if Al, you need to go, I'm going to put it on another night anyway, because it was all a bit too disjointed.
Okay,
I
good.
would like it to flow better. So you
That's
can
okay.
just come again. Is that all good?
So I'm leaving you, lovely ladies,
See you soon.
and I'll see you
See you
soon.
soon. Take care.
Bye.
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 What are you eating, Faye?
Chips. The taste of love.
Brilliant. Are you happy to stay, Mandy?
Yeah, I'll stay.
Okay. So just going to take you on a little bit of a whiz around, feeling into some different guides, bring some different energies through, so that you can feel nice and calm and relaxed. I just need to grab one of my books. Hang on a second. So out of the guides that we work with in Rahani, anyone got a preference of who you want to call in? Could do a couple if you want.
Could we do the ones that aren't Melchin? I can't remember the names, but
Melchizedek,
yeah, so not him. The doctor one.
Dr. Lorpan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the other one that isn't Yin Wan Yin?
Kuan Yin.
Kuan Yin.
So that one, yeah, Kuan Yin.
So is there another one that isn't Kuan Yin?
Okay, yeah, you've got Master Philos, you've got all the archangels, you've got Mother Mary.
I think I was thinking about Master Philos.
So the jolly one.
But I'm happy to be guided by everybody else as well. It's just that those are the ones I haven't really connected with.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we'll
I
either
like
do
that
one or two of those. Let's see what everyone else wants to do.
I quite like to Master Philos.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I really like his picture.
What do you want to do?
And yeah, and obviously what he represents.
So he's bringing joy and fun to the table.
Mm.
Okay, so we can bring him in to help us manifest some more of that in our lives, yeah?
Yeah.
And Faye?
I do love Mother Mary.
Okay.
Just very loving.
Now, whenever I work with Rahani, she's always there with me, but she's not a consistent guide. It depends what I'm working with.
Yeah, she crops in with me quite a bit. And the energy always goes out of my legs with her.
Yeah, so like really lovely energy.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So let me just find them. Onion.
Can I just ask? I had I got a CD of Mother Mary, and
Yeah.
it was like the kind of attunement for it. And
Yeah, I've got that.
I played it once, and I just had this lovely, lovely, lovely feeling. And then when I've since sort of like listened to it again, and I haven't had it. So was the lovely feeling the attunement, or will
Yes,
I?
it can be, but
Yeah.
you can tap into that energy again.
Anyway, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it was lovely.
Wrong manual.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, the first time she came through was with Rahani, but then I did some healing with Sana. I don't know if you know Sana, and
Yeah.
she brought Mother Mary energy, and it was just really nice. So nice. Really soft. Well, powerful, but soft.
It's nice.
I'm just getting the pages so that I'm not fiddling around when I'm trying to keep you in a space. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. So we've got Marcelinus, I found him. Law plan, next page, that's handy. Would help if the Rahani manuals are a bit all over the place with the guides. Okay, here we are. Okie dokie. So we're going to bring through the comfort and healing of the inner child and stuff with Mother Mary. We'll do some manifesting with Master Philos. And then a bit of, see what Dr. Lawfan wants to bring up. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to turn my video off so you don't see me fiddling about. Just take a couple of deeper breaths and settle into your energy. Just breathing right down into your roots and pushing them into the Earth Star Chakra. Magnetic silver, the energy, and then anchoring that into the center of the Earth, of Mother Earth, creating that connection to the Earth energies, safe and protected, anchoring us and keeping us grounded with those etheric cords. Bringing your attention to your base chakra. Deep grey. Feeling the energies there in your senses. Just allowing that to expand so that all these energies bring you into a higher state of consciousness to access your guides and into the luminous pink of that sacral chakra. Again, expanding and connecting that energy. And into that bright gold of your navel. Expanding the energy of mastery. The golden light in your solar plexus. Feeling this through every space, expanding that golden light out from your solar plexus Feeling that filling your field all around you in a giant bubble of protective light. Asking Archangel Michael to come and cut any cords of anything negative or draining that's not for our highest good. To leave now, go to the light. We're cutting the cords, we're sealing the ends. Sending any negative or draining energy on its way to the light with healing. You're in your own protective bubble. Only the light can come in, and the light energy that you invite in. Just moving up now into the energy of your heart chakra, so allowing this energy to expand, mixing and merging through every cell. Through your whole body, within and without, all around you. Into your higher heart, expanding that energy up into the royal blue of your throat chakra. Speaking your truth from your heart, expanding that energy, connecting into higher communication. And into the crystal ball, emerald green light. And your awareness to the center of your brain, around the pineal gland, just allowing this energy to unfold and expand, opening your intuitive senses, allowing this to be a portal for your connection to higher self, higher energies. This energy runs through the whole of your DNA, through your whole body. And then up into the white, the bright white of your crown, opening up, welcoming in higher energies. That connection there into the causal chakra, that moon white. That space where you can connect more deeply with your guides from the causal chakra. Always for the highest good. And up into your soul star, the magenta. Your soul purpose. Connecting with the gifts of your past lives, and then up into the bright golden orange of your stellar gateway. Access to source energy, that mastery, that connection. We are all one. And the protection of the six-pointed star of Rahani, bringing through the healing energy of Rahani, Christ consciousness. So allowing those energies to flow, mix and merge with your chakras, the higher aspects of you, connecting with the earth. Connected above and below. Just feeling into your bodies. Just sensing any space where you know you have an issue or where you're feeling discomfort. Just expanding the energy of your solar plexus and your golden bubble slightly further. We're going to ask Dr. Lorpan to step into our energy. and assist with our healing. Connecting with the director of the Healing Academy on Sirius, who oversees every healer on this planet. Ask him to come closer. Feel his power and his light. Feeling into your senses, see what shows up for you here. And challenge the energy that's stepped in by either asking, "Are you from the light?" 3 times. If not, they should leave. Or asking him to hold up the sword for the highest good of God. And just see whether that is easily happening in your mind's eye. If this hasn't happened, if this isn't the right energy, put your hand up so that I can guide you through what to do next. If this feels okay, we'll carry on. So Dr. Lawfan will be aware of the amount of energy you're able to receive, whether that's very subtle or whether you'll feel an energy in one of your senses. Just trusting that he knows how to work with you. Bringing your hand or your awareness to the part of your body, or ask Dr. Lawpan to guide your hand to that space and see where you're drawn or where your energy or attention is drawn to. The Lawpan is bringing through his healing energy. You may feel this, you may see a colour, you may have an emotion. You may sense some psychic surgery here. Bringing his healing light, healing what needs to be repaired, and bringing it into wholeness. Ask now in your mind. Dr. Lawpan has a message for you, or anything you need to know or heal. Anywhere else you need healing. Be guided. Ask him to clear any energy from your subtle bodies as well. To fine tune all aspects of you on a soul level with 5th dimensional healing energy. Asking him now to put us in a bubble of protection. surrounding you with a gold and platinum net. To filter out any imbalances or negative energies, viruses, bacteria. Call forth a cosmic viral vacuum for anything that may come close to you in your aura or physical body, to transmute any energies that are not for your highest good. Ask for a part of your body to be surrounded by light for a longer space of time, for continued healing. Set the intention that that continued healing moves to another space in your body that may need to be healed at any time. Set the intention for that telepathic hookup to his energy, for him to come forward when you need balance in any of your bodies. Working with Dr. Lorpan, the energy works really quickly. Thank Dr. Lorpan for coming. Just ask him to step away from your body for another time, leaving any healing in place that needs to stay there for now, as he steps out of your bubble. Now just sensing and visualizing the colour sky blue coming into your golden bubble of light. Feel Mother Mary stepping in. Ask her to step forward and bring the challenge again. Just always checking the guides that are stepping in. And she hold up the sword for the highest good of God? Is she working with the light? If anybody's not sure, put your hand up. If not, I'll carry on. At any point, if the energy doesn't feel right, you're in charge. You just send them away out of your bubble, send them to the light, and then you invite in the guide again until it feels right. So ask Mother Mary to draw closer, to come into the space of your energy so that you can feel her warmth and love. Bringing us comfort to any fear or pain, emotional pain, and healing to our inner child. Ask her now To help heal any past hurts, just choose one. Maybe something from our childhood. The wounded inner child. Keeping her drawing close, bringing her healing energy to help us go within and help us to release anything that no longer serves our higher purpose. Things we are ready now to let go of, as they no longer serve our path. They were lessons, we can now let them go. See her drawing your inner child forward towards her love and light. A feeling of safety, peace, and love. The energy getting lighter. Bringing your inner child out of any darkness or any sense of fear or pain. Feel her wrapping her arms around you, clearing with their comforting, loving energy. Imagine now there's an open window behind you, allowing that energy to leave. Anything that no longer serves you, just being taken away by the clouds. Bringing fully activated, loving light to heal your inner child. She places her special symbol within your solar plexus where it will remain. To help the release of the past hurts. You are whole again. Lifted up into her arms and held in a space of loving light. This will continue to shine in your solar plexus. Feel the energy of balance, that unity and wholeness. That love and light. Falling in the energies of the adamantine particles, which is golden sparkling light, to fill the space with love. Back into our natural essence, the innocence of our inner child. Knowing that Mother Mary also works with Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Being open, moving forward to working with these three energies together. Bringing the perfect balance of masculine and feminine through all the aspects. Thank Mother Mary for coming. Ask her to step out of our energy. Ready to come again whenever we need. Now we're going to invite in Master Philos, the Master of Joy. You will feel a smile when he's drawing close. Bring into your awareness that smile, that energy of a smile, how that feels. The energy feels uplifting and light. Again, ask him to hold the sword. He will do this with ease. Checking that you have the right energy before you continue. He's come to help lift your worries and concerns, to help you notice the joy. Brings in the energy of philosophy, physics, natural law. Also there to help you with your Rahani, bringing that playful, joyful energy into the space, bringing that healing that feels like a smile, that gentleness in his heart. Ask him to draw closer. Feel his laughter in your heart. Breathe in that vibration of joy and laughter. The vibration of this brings its own special healing. He's now taking your hand, taking you into a special space. Somewhere you feel warm and comforted and joyful. Bringing in the manifestation of this beautiful gift of a space where you feel these sensations, that laughter and joy. Set an intention now for something you wish to manifest. Feel into your heart energy, asking Master Philos to help you access this energy, helping you tune your vibration into the energy of that you wish to manifest. Relax into this space as if it's already there. You may receive a message or a flash of inspiration. It may help you visit this in a dream. Be open to the messages coming. Call on him whenever you need healing for yourself, your family and friends and clients. His energy connects into Mount Shasta in California. Make a connection to that energy. Imagine what he would look like, that jolly energy, that big jolly beard, surrounded by beautiful purple light. And conjure up the image of him whenever you need to feel that joy. And he'll be there in an instant, connecting with you at your side as a friend. His energy may feel familiar from another lifetime. You may feel his laughter bubbling up beside you. Working with you makes him very happy. Always connect with him through imagining the portal through to Mount Shasta. His energy is very strong there. The vibration of this mountain range is very powerful, a very powerful space for higher beings of light. Finally, just asking if he has a gift. He hands you something from his heart with joy. Feel the sensation of him in your body. Playful energy. As we thank him for coming, he walks us back into our space and steps out of our bubble of light for another day. We thank all the guides for working with us today and showing us how to be familiar with their energy. Just draw your golden bubble of light back closer to your body, drawing your chakras in closer to your body. Just enough balance for you to go about your everyday life, still anchored to the earth. And bring your awareness back to your physical body, wherever you are, into this space. Stretch and yawn, a drink of water. You awake, Faye? Not convinced. Earth to Faye. You can unmute yourself, ladies. Hopefully, if we're talking, she'll hear us.
Oh,
there.
yes, she is. There she is.
Oh, okay. We've only just finished. How was that?
Yeah, lovely. Very nice.
Did you get any guidance, any gifts? Go anywhere? See?
For me, it was just, I just had the feelings of, it's really nice.
So get more familiar with the guides, you'll start to know how they show up. It's really nice because when I called Master Philos in and said about the smile, it made you really smiled at that point. Which is really nice.
Yeah.
That's an easy thing to imagine as well, isn't it? The smile.
Yeah.
And the feeling of that. It's lovely. How about you, Mandy?
Yeah, I was in and out. So I did enjoy it, but I'm still sort of trying to recover. So I think I'm
It's
just
discombobulated.
Yeah, I am. So I think I just I just need to go and sort of recover really. So but yeah, it was nice. I still felt the energy, and I think I've decided, instead of seeing the sword, because that seems to come in and out for me. I think if I say, are you from the light, I think that seems a simpler process to me. My visualization can dip in and out as well.
So say, are you from the light 3 times, and then you're off camera, you'll just feel that, whether that feels right or not for you.
Yeah, I think that will be a easier.
Yeah, you're very in your feeling sense anyway, aren't you? So you'll just know if it feels off. But it is just literally send them away out of your, send them off to the light for someone else to deal with, and then you invite a guide in again.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I think if I'm feeling a bit wobbly, I don't trust anything.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, you'll have the recording of this, and I am going to do it again, so you can either come again or watch the recording of this and do this on your own, the meditation part of it.
Yeah, I think so.
But any questions, Mandy, that come from all the other stuff that I was talking about as well, then just message me. I'm happy to answer any questions. It didn't help that the energy is disjointed at the beginning because my internet was coming and going. I don't think that helped any of us because the flow went a little bit.
No, it was some of the little critical words, like Sue said, that were really influential in understanding the sentence.
Absolutely. Totally. It's a big subject, and this is a lifetime's work, that continual, it's a lot of information. It's huge.
But it was lovely. I enjoyed meeting those other guides.
Good.
In a more sort of personal way. It felt good. Thank you.
And when you're working with your senses, be gentle. If the energy is too much, tell it to calm down. Step back out of your energy. If the energy of a guide is too intense, tell them to step back.
Yeah.
Because you feel everything, you're in charge of that. You tell them, hang on a minute, too much. Turn it down a little bit. Just remember to be in charge.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I will.
Fall in the energy that feels comforting if you're having a little bit of a panic. So I think for you, practice that first. Practice those guides, feeling that energy, so that if ever you need that, if you've practiced it, your brain will have the habit and it will come in really quick.
Yeah.
Because you'll know how comforting feels, and you'll know how Master Philos and his jolly laughter and smile and that energy will feel, how could balance. Your brain and your head doesn't know what's real or not, so if you can access the feeling of it, it will calm down anything else that's going on, and bring that healing to where you need it.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
brilliant, thank you. And Faye, you're on mute, my lovely.
Yeah, it was wonderful. The first one that came in, I could see him quite clearly, and he was laughing at me, and which was nice. And he, we've met before in like some meditation, but I keep forgetting his name. It's really bad, and I've said sorry. And then when it started, it was really interesting. So a friend of mine, she's kind of going through what I went through a long time ago. And she started fainting and passing out, and like, you know, like right on cue, similar sort of timeline and everything. And I can always tell when like she's not all right, you know what I mean? I don't mean to do it, but I always seem to just check in with it at exactly the time. And for the last sort of 2 weeks, we've been talking a lot more than normal. And I just know that something's going on. And it was really bizarre. Around that time, back in time when I had that, I remember bashing my head at like, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was forcefully bashing my own head because I was like this bit of my head on my boyfriend at the time on his dashboard. And I was just so frustrated with so many different things. And it was right on here on my third eye chakra. And it's so bizarre. And in that and it came to me, you know, at the start of that meditation, and he just removed it all. And all of the energy kept going from out of my face and out of there. And it was so nice, really, really lovely. I feel really lightheaded now. But I didn't realize I've like must have been carrying that around. And I don't know if I picked that up off her or if it's just triggered something in me. I have no idea. So that's all like cleared and gone, which is lovely.
Brilliant.
And then I fell asleep at some point. I don't know when I fell asleep.
I'm not sure either. You look comfy anyway.
Yeah.
You can revisit, and we're gonna do it again anyway, so that's fine.
Mm.
You look in your Mahani manuals. You can make up your own meditations for all of them. Just get into the space where you are comfortable and relaxed, and just feel guided to say the words out loud and record it yourself, and then listen to yourself back. Just skim through the words on the page and see what jumps out, and you'll feel inspired for what needs to be spoken out loud, because it gives you enough characteristics and stuff in the book. And then you can do further exploring, of course, beyond that into these guides. If you want to really work on one a week, for example, and really get to know their energy, and how that again shows up for you might be different for each of you. The same guide might show up completely different. Just set the intention to work with a guide a week, for example, and just really tune into that energy and see how it feels. You may have, you know, think, right, okay, what's the best guide for me to work with, and see who might step forward. Have a list of them and see what you feel drawn to. Just really work on it, because I think this is the next step now, is to really tune into the energies that we're working with, because this is how we make our healing even more powerful, really. It's important for us to heal. Everything's happening so quick, and then important for us then to be, when we're ready, to help other people with that as well. But even just healing ourselves changes how everything outside works, even if we don't physically work on other people, as we all know. The microcosm and the macrocosm. So yeah, play with it. Do some meditations. If anyone wants to do a meditation and send it to me, I'd be always happy to sit and listen to a meditation, as you know. So yeah, that's it. I think we're done. We're all tired. Thank you for bearing with me. Try and get online next time when James is not using the internet. It's not normally that bad. The only time that ever used to happen before was when Jake was still living at home. Let's turn the recording off. And I used to have to battle him to turn his Xbox off.